Hi, this is Sylvia Carrizales with TejanoNation.net. And as promised, we have an interview today with Heather Jolene Alcantar. Did I say that right?
You sure did.
Okay. And we're going to talk about, she's a new artist, has a new song out, No Me Vayas a Dejar. Did I say that right? No Me Vayas a
You
Dejar.
did.
And it's a very like upbeat, fresh pop sound. So obviously, we're going to talk about her music and about just a lot of things. And I think
First of all, thank you so much for having me and for,
definitely,
you know, to Tejano Nation and to you, of course, for doing this. This is my very first interview with
and I'm
any
honored.
media. And we, Rosie is my promoter. She is from Rap Promotions, Rosie Allison Promotions. Shout out to her.
Mhm.
She was the one that said, "Hey, we ought to do something big and really, get your name out there." And I think that Sylvia would be the perfect person to go with, and Tejano Nation would be the perfect, outlet to do that with. And so we're super excited. Again, my name is Heather Jolene Alcantar. I'm from San Angelo, Texas, and I've been singing since I was pretty much born.
Mhm. And
You know,
what did you first? What kind of music did you first get attracted to? I guess, or
well, my dad is from Mexico, from
Mhm.
Guanajuato, Mexico,
Okay.
and my mother is from here, from
Mhm.
Texas, from San Angelo, and we grew up listening to Mexican music. My dad was a big Pedro Infante fan, and
Mhm.
just Jose Alfredo Jimenez, people like that,
Classics, yeah.
and classics, and my mom was a pop girl. She loved 80s pop, 70s pop, but mainly 80s because she grew up. So we were exposed to all of that.
Mhm.
When I was little, I was I was basically like a little grown up.
Uh-huh.
I already had my personality. I already knew what I wanted, what I liked. And the first artist that I ever really listened to by choice was Ana Gabriel.
Mhm.
So it was interesting to see a little 4-year-old wanting to for their parents to put, Ana Gabriel's tape
Mhm.
on or a video, So it was just interesting. I had an interesting start when it came to music. I mean, it was very eclectic, but also very Mexican, you know.
Yeah. So you had
hmm
a good, you were exposed to a good, like, diverse kind of range of music. But
Yes.
so I guess I don't like I told you, like, I guess when we were talking about it, this your role is like, not to put more pressure on you, but it's a tough business, as we've seen, recently. It's a tough business, the music or entertainment in general. But some people will or I mean, you do have a historic role, I guess is what I'm trying to say. And just what do you want to say about that? And I want you to say as much
Yeah.
or as little as you want to say about that, because I know that you said you don't want to, like, push it on
Oh
people, but
no, of course. I
Mhm.
mean, it's one of those things that, it's you see it every day. Well, maybe not everybody, but you see it, you hear about it, but you don't actually interact with that. You may not
Exactly.
have anybody in your family that is, what I am, which is, a trans woman
Hmm.
and, a part of the LGBTQ plus community. And it's something that, for me, for the longest time, it took me forever to
Hmm.
really accept that about myself
Hmm.
and to be okay with it.
Yeah.
And it's a struggle. It's always a struggle. We don't have it easy. Nobody has it easy, but you know, there's an extra layer
Yes.
of struggle there and of a fear of discrimination and stuff
Hmm.
like that. And for me, I just couldn't live with myself anymore, faking who I was. So I wanted to, just be who I was. And all of my influences growing up, were female,
Hmm.
and I was always drawn to the female singers, like
Hmm.
Selena was one of my biggest influences.
Of course,
She
yes.
was,
Queen.
I mean, I was so, I grew up, as soon as I found out about her, I
Mhm.
dropped all the other singers. I was like,
It was
all I need
Selena.
is Selena. Yeah. And
That's awesome.
so, she was my biggest inspiration, and she still is one of my biggest inspiration. I think she inspires all of us. I think we all are still trying to, you know, we all look up to her. Let's just put it that way. We all
Yes.
look up to her, no matter how old you are, no matter, when you started, we all know the Queen of Tejano is and always will be Selena, you know?
Amen.
And she was, yeah, amen. And she was so young,
Mhm.
she started so young, and she was a hard worker. She really put herself out there. Her father, got her ready, and the whole family and everything. And I think that that's something that I always admired. I
Yes.
admire that about her. I admire that about anybody that works hard at something that they believe in and make it happen.
Great.
And so, I mean, she's always been an inspiration. Another inspiration of mine is Stephanie Montiel,
Yes.
which is one of the main reasons why I got back into music.
Mhm.
After a long time, I kind of I took a break from music, period. I didn't want to, I was performing and stuff, but I didn't want to record anymore.
Mhm.
And then she got me all excited about it. And
Mhm.
I was, I saw her in concert when I think I was like 7.
Mhm.
That
Oh
was my
wow.
very first concert that I ever went to.
With Stephanie Montiel.
Stephanie Montiel. That was
That's
my
awesome.
very first concert that I ever went to. And I
Mhm.
think that has a big part of, that plays a big part in why I love Tejano music. It just makes you feel good.
Mhm. And what about Stephanie in particular caught your attention?
I really like the fact that her music appealed to a younger crowd.
Mhm.
It was new, it was fresh, it had a pop feel
Mhm.
to it, but it was
Totally.
also
Yes.
very, very, very Tejano. It
Mhm.
had a lot of the Tejano, traditional Tejano elements, but her voice was so pop and so just it just drew you in.
Mhm.
And I was like, oh my, that first song, Celos, that
Mhm.
that's the one that I first heard, and I was like,
Mhm.
who's that? And I was like, I love it. I love it.
Mhm.
And when I found out that we were going to the concert, I was like, oh my God, like a concert, what is that? Like I don't know what that is. Because I was only like 7. I had never been to a concert, and it was amazing, and she even waved at me. Well, that's
Oh,
how I saw it. I thought she waved at me.
yeah. I'm sure she did. She's so friendly.
So, and I tell her the story every time I see her. I'm like, girl, your your concert was my very first concert ever. And she's like, I know, you've told me like 3 times.
Oh, she remembers. That's cool
Yeah,
though.
she's so sweet though. She is so cool. I love her.
Great. And then I guess let's talk about your background. I know that you mentioned that you did receive training, formal training in voice or
Yes. Well, I started singing when I was, really, really little. I mean, I was kind of, I loved it, and it was just part of my upbringing. Music was always very, it was always everywhere. We played music. My dad was a musician. My mom sang in church.
oh,
And then I started singing in church too.
mhm.
And then I started taking voice lessons when I was like 12.
Oh, wow.
So as soon as that happened, I started recording about 2 years later. So 14, I recorded my first demo. And, after that, I mean, it was just, you know, recording, performing, sending demos out to different record labels and stuff like
Mhm.
that. And so I've just always been singing ever since.
You had mentioned to me when we were talking before the interview about where you got some of your like performance experience. Do you want to talk about that?
Sure. Yeah, and
Mhm.
I did get a lot of training. I got voice lessons from the college here. My mom was like, if we're gonna do this, we're gonna do it right. So
That's
we went,
awesome.
and I started doing, we did scales, I started singing in this more operatic style, more
Okay.
of a classical
Hmm.
style of singing. And then when I got a little bit older, I decided I wanted to do R&B and pop,
Hmm.
and then it just kind of from there I just evolved as an artist. I just started singing. I grew up singing R&B, a lot of R&B, a lot of pop. Of course, I did Tejano, Christian music as well. And so because of my, Catholic upbringing, I mean, that was something that it was just going to be there.
How did your family, react to you, uh, letting them know that you were,
That I was trans.
trans?
Yeah.
Yeah.
At first, it was a kind of it was a shock. I mean, to a lot of people,
Mhm.
because they all saw me as a confident person before, as somebody who, enjoyed doing what they were doing, enjoyed it, you know, genuinely, but nobody knew the struggle that I was going through,
Mhm.
behind closed doors and just within my own being. And when I first came out as trans, I had already, been, I had already come out before,
Mhm.
as gay, but
Mhm. Oh,
it
how old were
was,
you when you
I
came out as
was in
trans?
my, I want to say I was in my early 20s.
Okay.
hmm And then when I finally came out as trans, I was 30. So that was 6 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah, mom was super supportive. She was
Awesome.
excited because she wanted to take me shopping and she wanted to, do all the stuff that you do with a daughter. And
Mhm.
she had, I mean, she pretty much, she adapted so quickly.
Oh,
Props to my mama because
I know.
I
I
mean,
love her.
she really did. Yeah, she adapted so quickly, and all of my friends adapted. They were like, "We already knew. What are you talking about? Like, you've always,
Like we're not shocked, or they
we're not
weren't
taught."
surprised.
No, it was more of a, my dad and
Mhm.
some of my male friends. You know what I'm saying? And but I mean, it was one of those things I knew that if it was hard for me to
Mhm.
accept myself, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? That it was going to be hard for certain people to accept as well.
Mhm.
And uh, unfortunately, that just comes with the territory.
And I think it's on everyone too to educate ourselves. You kind of helped me out there. I was struggling with just saying trans, because it's we don't talk about that, and
You don't talk
like you
about
said,
it,
unless you yeah.
especially not in our and in the Tejano industry.
Mhm.
You don't talk about stuff like that. Just in general, people are so like, oh my God, should we can we say it? Can we talk about it? Why
Yeah,
not? Sure, talk about it. I mean, that's the
exactly.
only way anybody's gonna learn, right?
Exactly. And I was looking kind of through, the Tejano Nation, and I saw that, we had written about like Eric Lee, who, came out as gay, but I as far as I know, you are the first, trans artist in Tejano, recording artist. I don't know if anyone has told you
I am the
different,
first.
or you're the first. So
Oh, I
that's
am. Yeah,
um
I'm the first. And
but
that's gonna be my thing forever.
But I love how you said it. You said something like you didn't want you're a Tejano artist who happens to be trans. Like you didn't want that to define you because you want your music to do that, right? Or you want
Exactly. And that's true. I just happen to be trans, but I'm a Tejano singer, and I sing music that comes from the heart. I write music that comes from the heart. Um, it's I don't want that to be like um I'm not gonna go to every single interview or every performance and be like, hey guys, I'm the first trans Tejano singer. Thank you
yeah,
for being here. No, I'm gonna say, hey
presenting
guys,
the first. No, yeah.
right. I'm gonna say, hey, I'm Heather Alcantar and I'm gonna sing for you guys. Hope that's okay. Let's do this. But
Oh,
it's something that is a part of me, so I can't deny it. And I'm not gonna sit here and try to hide it because that's not gonna happen.
exactly.
And so what my first goal is to make music and to use my talent, you know, to do that. And I think that it's gonna open doors for other people.
Yeah.
It's something that it takes a lot of courage. It takes a lot of courage to be who you are, to be true to yourself, and especially in a genre that's very male dominated, very machistas,
So yes,
very, you know what I'm saying? I mean, even the women are still struggling now. You know what
yes.
I mean? And then we put a trans woman in the mix. You know what I'm saying?
Like
It's like,
yeah.
okay, but I mean, it's how you evolve as a genre. And it, you know, all of the other genres have evolved. They have
Mhm.
moved forward. We're in 2024,
Exactly.
and I feel like a lot of times in our genre, you want to stay in 1991. And it's like we're
Mhm.
not there anymore. We're a whole different world.
Yeah, we're kind of
And you
stuck
have
in
to
the
be,
90s a lot. But
yeah,
how do you expect people to react? And I guess obviously, how are you hoping they'll react? Is I guess.
I'm hoping that people just see me as another artist,
Mhm.
and that's just part of, that's just part of me, who I am, but it's
Mhm.
not who I am. The
Yes.
music is who I am. I hope that they focus more on the music than
Mhm.
anything else, and that's really what my goal is. My goal is also to, you know, make other people feel safe enough to come out and say, hey, you know what? I'm also trans, or I'm,
Mhm.
whatever you go, whatever, however you see yourself, or whatever label you use on yourself.
Mhm.
Um, I think that, like Shelly Latta said, she told Rosie that she was very proud of me, that she was excited
Oh,
for me, that she was proud because she knew that this was something big and something new and something that's never been done before, and that I would be opening doors for other people.
yeah.
And that's kind of, I never really thought about it that way
Yeah.
until she said it,
Mhm.
until Shelly said it. I was
Mhm.
like, oh my goodness, like
And that's coming from Shelley
it's
Lotus, obviously, a
coming from
veteran
Shelly Latta.
artist that who we look up to and admire.
And
Uh,
she's another one that I've always looked up to my whole life. I covered her song Soy tu amor. I used
oh
to sing
yeah.
that. Oh, I used to sing it everywhere I went,
Mhm.
and it was like, everybody loves that song, even
Yes,
till this
that
day,
was a big, huge hit for her. So I thought more, yeah,
Mhm.
that's a good one. And but yeah, I think it's that you're brave and again, honored that you chose me and the Tejano Nation to talk to first, and just want to say thank you and just admire your courage. And I guess because it's always hard being the first. I can't, I can't imagine how I would feel, or if I would have the courage that you do. So thank you,
Yeah.
and
And
just
thank you so much for that. And it's kind of scary.
mhm,
It's a big, it's a big responsibility,
yes.
you know,
But
and
like you said,
but
so you
it
want people to know you though for your music. And so let's talk about so No Me Vayas a Dejar. I love it because it's like danceable and it's just like a feel good song. What do you want to say about your first single?
yeah, No Me Vayas a Dejar
Mhm.
is a very, it has an island feel to it. It has
Mhm.
like a reggae feel to
Yes.
it. The beat itself, it's a cute, flirty song
Mhm.
about how this boy makes me feel,
Mhm.
and how I don't want him to leave me, basically.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what the song is saying. The chorus is, I mean, let's dance together, let's be
Mhm.
together, don't leave me, no me
Don't let
vayas
me
a
go.
dejar.
Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah, don't let me go, and it's a song that was inspired by true events, of course. All music has to be, real and come from somewhere real.
Yes.
And so for me, I just kind of was, I was in this relationship, and I mean, I use everything in life as inspiration for music for my songs when I write my songs. And it was a good time, and I thought, let's write a song about this. Why not make
Yeah.
a song about it, and it makes me feel giddy. It makes me
Yeah.
feel flirty. It makes me feel girly.
Mhm.
And I think that that's kind of the feeling that most people get when they listen to it. It's like a really cute, just flirty pop song. I
Like
mean,
that
it's
butterfly feeling in your stomach,
yeah,
or
yeah, and it is a pop. I said a pop song because it is kind of pop,
yes.
and it's also a little bit of reggae, a
Mhm.
little bit of reggaeton feel to it, but
Mhm.
it's a cumbia. It's a
Yes.
cumbia, very much so, very much a cumbia.
I liked it.
And
So I mean,
I showed it. The first person I ever played it for was Stephanie.
oh wow.
Yeah, because I was like, girl, because I opened up for her
Mhm.
at a concert here in San Angelo,
Oh
and
really?
yes, and I did a Selena tribute mix, like
Mhm.
a medley. There you go. I did a Selena medley, and it was like, it happened so fast, but it was so fun, And her, all of her people were like, "Oh my God, you did so good! That was awesome!" she brought me backstage after and we talked, and
That's
I probably told her the same story that I tell her every time I see her about her being the first concert that I ever went to, and but she was kind of the reason that I got, that I said I want to do music. I want to do Tejano music this time because that's what I've always loved.
mhm.
It's always been. It feels like home. Tejano
that's
music feels like home.
that's awesome. What did she say about your song?
Oh yeah, back to that. She loved the song. She was
Oh, cool.
like, "Oh my God, girl, it sounds so good." She was like, "I'm so
Okay.
excited for you." She
Mhm.
even like she had an interview with one of the podcasts here in San Angelo, and I left a comment in the live chat, and she goes, "Oh my God, Heather, she has new music, you guys, check it out." Like she plugged me. I was like, "Oh my God," I was all chiflada.
Well, Stephanie's one of my
I was like,
favorites too because she's a really nice person and she's just, I mean, she's just, down to earth. I mean, the powder that I'm wearing is because she told me, gave me a little makeup hint that I asked for. So
Yeah,
she's just like cool like that.
that is so cute. I love that.
But yeah, and so I mean, the rest of or when do you anticipate your album coming out and then your next single dropping?
My next single will be out in late June or early July. It's pretty much ready. I mean, it's ready to go. It's called Quiero Saber, and it's talking about, um, you know, sometimes in relationships things go wrong, and they don't go the way you thought they were gonna go, and sometimes you're caught off guard by that.
Yes.
And so it's about, I want to know, is there still hope? Can we still do this? Can we still make it work? Do you still love me? That's what the song is basically saying. And it's a really cute cumbia. It's
Mhm.
got a lot of accordion going on in it. I worked on it with a producer from Colombia.
Oh wow.
He helped me make the music, and then I produced and recorded the vocals myself and wrote the song.
And will your album kind of be that kind of cumbia pop feel, or will it
It's
have
gonna be
diverse?
mostly cumbias
Mhm.
and maybe a couple of one ballad. I have one mariachi style song that I want to do. That will be out in April of next year.
What do you want to say to your fans, your potential fans, to anyone who's watching this, um, about, I don't know, not how they should act, but what's something you don't want them to do? What's something you do want them to do? Or what do you have to say about that?
I think one of the things that I want people to know about me, or that I really want people to take away from this interview, is that I just have a passion for music. I have a passion for bringing joy to people's life through music and through performing. Um, I want people to be brave. That's my thing. You got to be brave if you're gonna do something. If you're gonna make a difference in this world, you got to be brave, and don't let anybody tell you you can't do something, because you can.
Where can people follow you on social media or online? Yeah.
You can follow me on Facebook, on TikTok, on Instagram, and on YouTube, and on Spotify, of
Well,
course.
again, I just want to say thank you to you, and we'll be obviously keeping up with your career, with your music. Um, and if you could just say a shout out or a hello to TejanoNation.net readers, that would be great.
Heather Jolene Alcantar here, and I just wanted to send a big shout out to all of the Tejano Nation readers and subscribers. And I want to thank Tejano Nation for doing this interview, and thank you to Sylvia.
Thank you so much again because it was an honor. I was, nervous and excited about this. I just wanted it to go well, and I just thank you for trusting us to to be the first to tell your story. And I'm sure you'll be hearing, from a lot more people now. So, um,
I was very excited about it. I was nervous too, and I'm very happy with it. I mean, you're a lot of fun. I know
great.
that we kind of talk back and forth, but we're gonna do something really fun one of these
Yes,
days. I promise you that.
I need to be more brave and get out of my little box. So you can help me do that.
I'll do that.
Great.